What's going on, nerds? Welcome back to Comic Book Nerd Nation, episode 149. I'm Fox2. We cut the fat out this week. Trimmed a little fat off the top. It's just me and Topher. What's going on, buddy?
I think you just called John and Brian fat.
Yeah, fuck them. I don't know if I did that or not. Maybe. Whatever. I wasn't trying to be insensitive. Regardless, here's the situation.
There's just been so much to cover. I don't know how we're gonna get to it all.
I know.
I mean, it feels like it's been forever since we last recorded.
Yeah, about that. We're actually recording the second day in a row. We have to record this episode in advance because I'm going to be out of town for my wedding. So, that being said, I guess Pirate and Brian partied too hard last night and are not here. But we don't have any news to talk about. So this is going to be a really interesting episode because we just recorded yesterday. But we've got some fun things planned.
We could discuss best comic book weddings.
Ooh. You know what? My fiance is actually... I'm surprised I haven't said anything. I don't know if she's still doing it. I should probably talk to her, seeing that we're getting married in like less than a week.
We don't ever actually talk.
Well, about this in particular, but she figured out how to make... what are they called? Boutonnieres? The little flowers that the guys wear?
Yeah.
Out of comic book pages.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, that's brilliant.
And they look like roses.
Oh, that's cool.
It's super cool looking.
Cool.
And I think she was planning on trying to get some comic books while she's out in California and make boutonnieres for the groomsmen and myself, which I thought was a really neat idea. That we also toyed with buying superhero shirts for underneath the tuxedos, but I think that's kind of been played out already.
A buddy of mine had superhero cufflinks. Like they each had like a Spider-Man, and one guy had Captain America, one guy had like Hulk Fist, and so like they looked all nice, but the plan was that they'd all have different superhero cufflinks.
That's cool. Another thought was that we were going to print out pictures, and we still may do this. We were going to print out pictures from famous comic book weddings and have them laminated and then put them on each table.
There you go. It all comes around.
And so then like each table is like a different themed wedding,
That would actually be pretty cool. I like that idea a lot.
We may do that for the reception here in Ohio. I'm not sure. So,
if not, I may steal that for my eventual wedding.
Go for it. I'll help you. I'll help you do the legwork on that one. But yeah, so because of the logistics of just me being on the other side of the country, all of my computer equipment being here, and accounts and passwords and time and everything like that, we're recording early, so this is going to be a much different episode than what our 7 fans are used to. No, in all seriousness, we've done 148
if
episodes.
Half the people watch it, that's fine, because only half the people recorded it. So.
Right. I mean, you can't blame them. So we've done 148 episodes in a row, and we were talking, and we've never missed a week. Every Wednesday, we've had something. There was one where I had to re-upload because only half the podcast rendered, but even that was up by Wednesday night. So we haven't missed a Wednesday for 148 weeks in a row. And
it's pretty crazy.
Myself and Topher specifically just couldn't really stomach the idea of missing week 149. We've got such I mean, I don't know, do you call it momentum? I don't think it's really momentum at this point. It's not like we have people beating down the door to listen to our next podcast or anything, but
not to be like
tradition. We're steeped in tradition.
Not to be a total science nerd here, but I mean the definition of momentum is the tendency of something in motion to stay in motion. So I mean,
I like where your head's at.
We've had this the fact that we've had it going consistently for this long made it hard for us to want to see it come to a stop.
Unreal.
Like, we can't just let it stop now. So
No.
I would say that's the very definition of momentum.
And we don't have any plans of stopping, just to clarify that statement. We just didn't want to miss a week. But speaking of like science definitions and things like that, did you hear that Bill Nye the Science Guy is getting a TV show again?
I did, and I am so fucking excited.
I can't wait for this. I'm actually shocked at how excited I am for this. I'm a little...
It's going to be good.
MacGyver's back on TV.
Yeah.
It doesn't look nearly as good.
So we talked about that a couple weeks ago on the podcast. We talked
about the fact that they were doing it again.
And I have a retraction to print because I'm pretty sure I said that I thought I had heard that they were going with a female MacGyver, that it was like his protege or something. Like, I don't know where the hell I got that from, because dude in the preview is clearly a dude. So
yeah, he's definitely a dude.
I don't know what I heard originally, but
I'm gonna look it up real quick here and see who is playing him. He looks familiar, but
he looks like if Heath Ledger was an even more obnoxious surfer dude who wasn't dumb but was just super smug instead.
Oh, it's
that's my evaluation.
It's Lucas Till.
Oh yeah, Lucas Till. Good old Lucas Till. God, I haven't seen him since...
He's Havoc from X-Men.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's what...
Okay.
You were like, yeah, that guy, fucking... I haven't seen him since that movie I never watched.
Yeah, I was going to be a total jackass there, but
yeah,
now that you
talk about your all-time backfires.
Now that you mentioned it, yeah, I totally see it now.
Yeah,
wow.
I was like, because when I saw the commercial or trailer or whatever, I was like, damn, that dude looks fucking familiar. But his hair is so much longer now. That's what.
Yeah.
And so that's cool. Well, wow. I mean, I'm definitely gonna have to check that show out. Like, I don't see how I could not check that show out. I was the biggest MacGyver fan. I still have a VHS tape of the final episode of MacGyver. I remember when it came on. I still remember the final episode. It was called Stringer. I'm like 90% sure. I'm actually going to look that up right now just to test myself. It was when he met his. It was when he met his son. Richard Dean Anderson as MacGyver, dude. I got like the first 3 seasons on DVD, just in the other room.
I never really watched that show. Like, I don't know if I just, if my parents never watched it, so I never saw it. If it was never on in the house,
I missed it.
If they just weren't showing reruns of it on a channel that I watched, but like I just.
The Stringer was the next to last episode. Mountain of Youth was the final episode. Man.
Like, we used to joke about it all the time, like you talk about people MacGyvering things.
Something.
I mean, it was such a common part of
prolific part of culture. Yes.
It was a term in its own that everybody knew what you were talking about, but like still probably to this day, I would think.
I really hope that they keep that aspect of the character alive. I think that's what made him so intriguing, was the fact that it was an action-based show. Your main character hated guns, refused to use guns, and used his scientific prowess to solve everything. And it was awesome.
I can't compare it to the original, like I said, because I'm not super familiar with it, having not watched it much, but...
we can solve that. You can come over sometime and we'll just marathon
that's true.
That shit.
I should totally do that.
You're like, I should totally do that. Never.
Yeah, not gonna. Let's be honest. No. But like, I guess my hopes for the new one, if it's gonna have any chance of being nearly as good as the original, which, let's be honest, probably won't. I think. I really wanted to see them take the character, like, not be like a smug asshole about it, like be totally like, think he's better than everyone. Like he
Which is
wasn't in the original show, right? Or
right.
was he?
He was very
Very humble.
humble.
He was just clever.
He was just smart, very unassuming.
A dick about it.
He wasn't like he wasn't a ladies' man per se. He wasn't like he was just your average person. Like he wasn't. There was nothing like outlandishly crazy about his personality. He just happened to be really, really clever, and something is going on over there. It sounds like a cat failing to do something. It sounds spectacular.
So, I've got like this, large like shopping bag, like one of the paper ones with the handles and stuff.
Oh,
like
is that
sitting
what that
over.
is?
Yeah. Well, like not like
not a plastic bag.
Yeah, not a plastic bag. Almost like one of the giant paper gift bags kind of style. And it's sitting over in the corner. And there's some like tissue paper in there. Like it was a gift or something, and I don't know why it's sitting over there. But my cat just like leaned up, put her paws up over it, tilted it over, and just like started diving like headfirst into it. Like you're just. Cat ass is sticking out of it, and like she's rustling over there, and she's climbing in deeper, and she gets like all the way in it, and then turns around and sits down with her front half hanging out. So she just looks like a giant fucking snail right now with this giant shopping bag shell on her back half.
Wow.
And she's just chilling there like, all right, this is comfy. What's up now?
This'll work. Oh man. So, like I said, we don't really have any news to talk about, but instead of news, Topher came up with a brilliant idea. Because we are recording, 2 weeks in advance on this? We're going to give you the predicted future news headlines. And I'm really bummed out that Brian and Pirate aren't here to enjoy this. We'll have to probably revisit this sometime because I have a feeling that there's a lot of comedic potential in this.
I have a feeling like this will also not be the last time that we have to record an episode super early because
that's a good point.
Somebody's not going to be around. So it'll definitely happen again.
So, tell me, Topher, in 2 weeks, what's going to be in the news?
Oh, man.
It's kind of tough. It's kind of a tough thing to think about. Like when you... I bet within 2 weeks we will have a new Rogue One teaser trailer. And it will be almost exactly the same as all of them that we've already seen, but everybody will be super pumped about it. Including myself.
I mean,
admittedly so.
I don't know. I feel like once they started releasing trailers for Force Awakens, I feel like they did a big one, and then they kind of did a follow-up, and then that was kind of it. They kind of chilled on the preview trailers for a while and kind of just let the movie happen, which I really appreciated. So maybe they will, maybe they won't.
What about Doctor Strange? You think we'll get some more Doctor Strange footage?
That's the one I was gonna say. I think we'll see some Doctor Strange hype.
When's that come out? I am super excited to see that movie. That soon?
Pretty sure it comes out in November. Yeah, I mean it's this year. November 4th.
November 4th. So that's just about a month away.
Less than a month away
from when time. Yeah, from when you'll be watching this.
Because today is September 5th. Or October 5th.
September, October. Yeah, I'm pumped to see this movie. Even if the story is shit, which I don't think it really will be, even if the story was complete shit, the visual effects are going to be worth it. Just that alone will be worth the price of admission. It looks like Inception times 10. Like, where they've got the fucking cities and they're like swirling. It looked like a double helix fucking... Oh my god. I don't know. It's... The potential is there to do something really fucking cool.
I'm super excited about that movie. Like, Benedict Cumberbatch, like, name a bad thing he's ever been in.
He's an amazing actor, too.
You can't.
What? So, of all the... I'm just kind of jumping from topic to topic, so I don't know. Deal with it. So of all the movies that are coming out, which is like some asshole number, like 50 comic book movies over the next 4 years, or something stupid. If you had to pick one, if you could only see one based on what you know right now, you're only allowed to see one of all the movies that are on the docket right now, which one would you pick?
So you said an asshole number. I'm not familiar with that term, but then you picked 50. So what? I guess I'm kind of curious why, when you think about assholes,
because they're like always kind of like
think of 50 different objects associated with
because like
your
50
asshole.
is like half of 100, and 100% is whole, and so like assholes are always like half open, half closed, because you're always farting. Especially John's, he's always farting. So it's like 50, half open, half closed. It's an asshole number.
I will buy that explanation.
That was probably the best bullshit explanation I have ever given you.
You pulled it out of your asshole, but it worked, and I appreciate the effort.
So if you had to pick one out of everything that you know of that's on the docket right now,
oh man,
which would be the one movie? You can't see any of the other ones. You can only see
for how long?
one.
How long are we talking?
Forever.
Forever.
We're playing for keeps today.
Forever.
Never seems so
if I could only see one movie from now until forever, what would I see? That's the question.
Of the new movies, you can watch old movies over again. You can
watch
this one movie over again, but you can only see one new comic book movie. That's a tough question.
Okay,
I'm interested to hear what our viewers. If you had to pick one, put it in the comment section. I'm interested to see what that would be.
Are we counting Star Wars?
Yeah,
amongst
for sure.
Comic movies. Fuck.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then
we got to make this difficult.
Then then I would have to. It would have to be Episode 9. I would have to wait a few years and go to Episode 9. I love Marvel. I love the Marvel movies. They're all great. I would love to see them all, but none of them. I have the comics, so like nothing that happens in them is so earth-shatteringly important that I would have to make that the only movie I ever see. I just couldn't do it. The DC stuff, I mean, it's been okay. It's been hit or miss. It's
a gamble.
I watch it because I like that kind of stuff, but like it's nowhere near the top of my priority list. Like I could take or leave a lot of it. But Star Wars has always been my number one love. Sorry, girlfriend, wherever you are. Like Star Wars has always been like the pinnacle of my fandoms. So. And Rogue One looks super awesome.
Yeah, it does. Oh my god.
The upcoming talks of Boba Fett movies and Yoda possible movies and young Han Solo adventures and it all sounds cool. And Episode 8's going to be the next big one, but
gotta see how it ends.
But you got to see how it ends. Like, there's no way I could watch Episode 8 and then not see how the damn franchise ends. And, of course, the franchise isn't going to end. As we discussed last week, they're going to keep making these movies till they're old and gray.
Yeah,
just like
till people stop fucking paying through the nose to see them.
Right. Off topic, well, sort of on topic, but off topic to your question. Do you remember the old Weird Al song, Yoda? It was a parody of Lola by the Kinks.
Yes, vaguely remember.
Great fucking song. But like during the little bridge part, there's this he's basically addressing Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill directly, and saying that there must have been a long-term contract and we'll be making these movies till we're old and gray, and that just jumped into my head. Talking about making the movies till they're old and gray.
Yeah.
He's basically old and gray now, and he's still making damn movies.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to go listen to that song now. If you haven't heard it, go listen to it. It's awesome.
I would have to pick.
Back to my justification. Yeah, I mean, we pretty much covered it. Yeah, like Episode 8, I want to see it, but like these movies always come in trilogies, and like this is the beginning of a new trilogy, and at least I'm assuming that's how they're going to go forward. That 7, 8, and 9 are kind of going to be like their own little trilogy. I don't know what they'll do after that, if they'll continue with numbered episodes, but the plan is, right now 7, 8, and 9, and I can talk to other people, I can find out what 8 was about and fill in the missing parts, but I got to see the ending for myself.
I got to go with... That's an excellent choice, by the way. Had you not picked that, I probably would have picked that. But I can't just say, yep, samesies.
But luckily, you let me go first.
So, pulling that out as a possibility for myself, I have to go with Infinity War. I gotta go. Just the Marvel movies have been great. Half of me wanted to honestly...
Part 1 or Part 2?
They're doing it in one movie. Remember? Oh, I don't think you were on the week we talked about that.
No,
it's going to be one movie now.
Okay. So what I heard was that not that they were going to condense those two into one movie, just that those were working titles, and they're not going to call them whatever Part 1 and whatever Part 2. That they're going to still do what they had planned to do in those, but the titles are going to be their own movies. But the two of them together will, be the totality of the Infinity War.
Oh, well, fuck that! I can't pick that then.
At least that was my understanding.
Yeah, goddamn, I don't want to do that.
Well, I mean, each is going to be a standalone movie.
Well, you know what? Then I'm gonna pick way out in fucking left field here, just for the fun value. I'm gonna pick the Harley Quinn movie that they just announced.
Interesting.
I thought Margot Robbie killed it as fucking Harley Quinn.
Great.
I think a movie. I mean, that movie was just about all about her, but a movie revolving
Will Smith
completely about her would be fucking hilarious. It would be fun. It would be really lighthearted. It would be super rewatchable. It would almost definitely have Ben Affleck as Batfleck. I would hope that it would also have the lady that played
Amanda Waller?
Yes, thank you. Amanda Waller. I loved her character in Suicide Squad. She was just ruthless as fuck, and I loved that about her. Yeah, I'm going to have to go with that. I personally cannot wait for Suicide Squad to come out. I'm going to buy it for sure, 100%. My fiance and I both really, really enjoyed watching it. I know that's kind of an unpopular opinion with a lot of people, but I can't wait to see it again. I really, really can't wait to see it again. I love the soundtrack on it. The visual effects were good. There were a few things that I didn't care for, but they were far, far overshadowed by the stuff I loved. So I think that another movie about Harley Quinn would be a really good, fun, lighthearted movie.
It wasn't received very well by critics and certain industry people, but
it did good at the box office, though.
Yeah, I feel like everybody I've talked to
said that they liked it.
And reviews are not everything, in either direction, and box office numbers don't necessarily mean shit, because you can get the general populace out there to watch a lot of stuff that, comic book fans wouldn't necessarily agree with and would think is total shit. That's probably where Pirate is right now. He's off just... He's drunkenly... He's still drunk from last night. He's wandered... Here's my prediction for future news story. Arrested somewhere in Hamilton, Ohio. A Walmart was broken into late at night, and a drunken pirate stumbled through the through the entertainment section, through the electronics
watching
section,
Transformers on all of the TV displays.
Finding every single copy of Transformers so that he could rip it out and throw them up on the ground and break them and go wah 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 sound effects every time he smashed one.
I think he'd get drunk and we'd see him in there sitting there watching it on the wall of TVs, just enjoying every second. Like a little kid at Christmas.
Yeah, he finds the last one and he's like, I can't break them
I
all.
can't do it.
And he
I
sticks
just
it in
can't
the
do
DVD
it.
player, and he slumps down. He goes and finds an Optimus Prime plushie in the toy aisle, and he just cuddles it while
I
he
thought I
watches
was here
the
to break
movie.
Transformers, but Transformers, you broke me.
You transformed me.
Oh, yes. It'll transform your heart. Oh, God.
Oh,
Man.
so since I made it harder on you by picking Star Wars, you couldn't pick that one, and so I had it easy. But I'll give you my backup. If you would pick Star Wars first, I'm gonna go with a theoretical movie here that hasn't been announced yet.
Oh,
but
okay. I like where your head's at.
eventually, the rights to X-Men will transfer back to Marvel.
Oh.
And the movie I want to see is the first Marvel Studios made X-Men movie.
Man. Especially if it's like a... Because at that point, there probably won't be many standalones, so there'll be crossovers all the time.
AVX doing Avengers versus X-Men.
Dude, come on. Do that now.
How cool would that be?
That would be fucking great.
How cool would that be?
The things you could do with that, that'd be so awesome. That would be a movie to watch, for sure. Or another great theoretical movie, which they almost did, and I hate that they didn't. Justice League Dark.
That could be interesting.
Justice League Dark. They were gonna have Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
Direct it. Just make it dark, gritty as fuck, like a thriller, almost borderline horror movie.
Was that actually on the slate?
Yeah.
At one point?
Yeah.
Because that sounds kind of familiar.
Yeah,
but
they were gonna make
remember
that.
hearing
They had
anything
him
about it.
slated to do it, and I can't remember exactly, but I think that there was creative differences. Like he wanted to do it his way, and they were like, it might be a little bit much.
No, it would be exactly
It
right.
would be 100% perfect. Like let the dude go off get Rob Zombie to fucking direct it. Fuck it.
Oh man, I hadn't heard about this.
Yeah, that was
it
was every bit of a year ago.
Oh god, that was like I just looked up an article like
Yeah, it was
Guillermo del Toro dropped Justice League Dark
every
1
bit
year
of a
ago.
year ago. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But that would have been, if they did it right, it would have been amazing.
Oh.
Just super dark, gritty. I mean, like right on the fence of horror movie is where it needs to be.
So we've done future news. Here's past news.
Yeah.
Apparently, it was because of Pacific Rim 2. It was going to be a
conflict.
It was going to the shooting of it was going to conflict with it, and he was torn on which one to do, but in the end, he chose to do Pacific Rim 2.
That's kind of surprising, but all right.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that'll come back around as an opportunity. Man.
Yeah, I mean, that was a year ago. I mean, you got to think that with the reception of Batman v Superman and the way that they've juggled things around since, that their release schedule could have changed several times over by now.
Yeah, that's what I would think.
So maybe they moved that one around to accommodate the director who would fucking nail that.
I just want to say something. I just saw this. I don't know when this is supposed to be released, but Captain America number... I don't understand. It says number 1 in the top left corner, but it says number 14 in the bottom right corner.
Oh, man. Okay.
But
yeah. Are they doing that again?
Ugh. Yeah, it's Sam Wilson, Captain America, and right on the front, hashtag take back the shield. What?
Hey.
Why are you putting stuff like that on the front of comic books? Please stop. Please stop. If there's anyone at Marvel that's listening, please just stop it. Make comics great again.
Oh.
That is not an endorsement for Donald Trump. But make comics great again. I'm tired of, like, I want so badly to have that feeling of wanting to go to the comic book store and buy just a gaggle of fucking comics and come home and can't wait to read them. And I haven't had that in like a year because it's just gimmick after bullshit out on top of fucking garbage. And it's just, I don't know, man. Fuck. Come on.
Okay, so I just looked this up.
Hashtag take back the shield.
I was hoping that it was like, you know, kind of like along the side somewhere, like in one of like the little
it's
like
the entire middle of the comic.
Action bubble, like the editorial bubble where they're like, in this issue, blah 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 blah, you know, like you know, some kind of preview text like they used to do in the old days, you know, and then like hashtag take back the shield, because I get it. These days, social media is a thing. Twitter is very much a thing. Everybody uses it. You know, like it's actually kind of smart to bring social media in and have people discussing it, you know, live and have it be a trending topic. Like I get it. That makes a lot of sense from a marketing perspective, even from a community building.
Totally with you.
But this cover is dominated by hashtag take back the shield.
30% of the cover.
It's front and center, giant text. That it is the
It covers Sam Wilson from fucking belly button to chin.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. And then there's the issue of the numbering.
Okay, so this is something they did. They did this a couple years ago during Marvel Now.
Was it stupid then?
Yeah, it was stupid then, now. and I complained about it on this podcast several times.
Ridiculous.
It was annoying. Well, you know, it's in a way I get it.
Are they just saying, hey, this is a pseudo #1 good jumping off point to start, but it's actually number 14?
It's basically the first issue in a new story arc. And so, like, I get it. Like, I think that's actually kind of helpful because, I'll be honest, sometimes I'll be behind on my comics a lot, and I won't necessarily be able to read, you know, everything. Well, shit, I haven't gotten everything for the last year and a half. I'm so far behind. But, you know, like, if I'm buying a series and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to drop this one, or I want to pick up a new series, nobody wants to jump in the middle and, like, you know, so it's like, it's nice to see how much of a, you know, particular story arc you need to collect, or when you can jump into a new story arc and see, you know, oh, this is when one starts. And oftentimes I'll, like, you know, open up the front cover and I'll check to see, you know, like oftentimes the splash page inside, you know, will have like a summary of things that have happened in the title up to that point, you know, and sometimes it'll say, you know, begins a new story arc, or, you know, like there'll be like a subtitle. The story arc will have a subtitle, and it'll be like part 5 of 6, and it's like, oh, okay, I need to buy one more, or, you know, part 1 of 6, and oh, sweet, okay, this is the beginning of the storyline. I don't need to go look for last week's issue that I never found. You know, like, I get that, but God, putting #1 on the cover and then number 14 down in the corner is just so fucking confusing. I don't like it.
But then why can't they do it like DC does, where they just have a name for the story arc? They don't always do this, but, you know, they do it for sure on, like, I go back to this all the time because it's one of my favorites. Forever Evil.
Oh, I was just going to say, I bet it's Forever Evil.
I go back to this all the time, but it was really easy to follow. Why? Because, well, that's a bad example. That really is a bad example. Let's talk about like Brightest Day, Green Lantern. It says, like, they release a thing with all the issues in order before they come out. Like, there's a page you can get from your comic book store, and it's got every fucking issue in order.
Yeah, the crossover event checklist.
Yeah.
Like, those are good. Those are good.
Or if you have to put it on the cover, why can't you just name your story arc? Name it. Fucking even name it hashtag take back the shield. And then just put at the top in smaller letters, you've got Captain America number 14. And then under it put hashtag take back the shield. 1 of 13.
Yeah.
1 of 7. 2 of 7. And then it's easy to follow. Oh, okay, well, this is Captain America issue 14, but it's the first issue of Take Back the Shield storyline.
You know, and they have all these.
I mean, it's not fucking rocket science.
They have all these story arcs named. You know, like anytime there's an event or they've all got like something they call it, and oftentimes it's in the book somewhere.
At the very least, yeah.
And most of the time it's in the book so that people know what to call it when they're, discussing it with other comic book fans, I mean, like, but just put it, it would be great to have the arc title on the cover, and it would be great to have part whatever of whatever on the cover. Like, do you know how much easier that would make comic book collecting? Do you know how many hours I've spent trying to figure out, whether, okay, am I missing this one? Did this start? Which was the one that had, and like, because nobody ever sees anything other than the covers. It's what's in the preview images each week. If you look at, if you look at spoilers, it's in. It's on the rack. When you collect it, you put it in a bag with a board. All you see is the front. If you go to a convention, they're all bagged and boarded, and all you see is the front. Like, so often it's so hard to find what the hell you're looking for. It's like if you want to sell more comics, like I know you keep resorting to, I'll use your favorite word, gimmicks here and there to sell comics, but here's a simple thing that's not even a gimmick that you can do. Just, it's a fucking tool. Just make your comics more organized.
Yeah.
Tell us what this issue is.
Approachable.
Like, yeah, tell us this is this storyline. So if we heard somebody talking about it, we go, oh, I want to buy this book. Or, like part 1 of something, sweet, I can jump in and start buying this. I picked up issue 2, let me go find issue 1. How do I know what it looks like? It says issue, part number 1 right on the frickin' cover. So, like, I like the idea of telling us when storylines start, but using the pound sign and doing number 1, and I just for some reason did a pound sign with my fingers. That was embarrassing. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. I don't know what came over me. Like doing that and calling it number 1 when there's, in big text when it's clearly issue number 14 is just confusing, especially when you're rifling through like long boxes or something in a store, and that's the first thing you see. Like, I have long hated how a lot of the issues are putting the issue number down at the frickin' bottom. Can we go back to like the publisher's box up at the top corner that has the number up there?
Make comics great again.
Yeah. Ugh.
So
apparently I'm frustrated over that.
You mentioned gimmicks, and I just came across this other thing here that, I don't know, like, Marvel's at it again. They have yet another number 1 coming out in November. Venom number 1 will be releasing in November with 5 different variant covers on this book. One of them is 1 in 1,000. So in order to get one of this particular variant cover, the retailer will have to order 1,000 copies of the regular issue.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder why they do like these certain incentive variants. Like,
it's silly. I don't like it.
I get that they want to make them rare, but
no, they want to force sales. The problem is it's devaluing the regular comics so much, because now the comic, the one that everyone wants is the one in 1,000. So now Joe Blow Comics has to buy 2,000 copies of Venom number 1, which is never gonna fucking sell. Never. Just to get 2 of the 1 for 1,000s. So then they're gonna end up selling 15 Venom number 1s and the 2 1 for 1,000s for a crazy high price, and then all the rest of these, other 995 fucking however many, whatever, 1,995 that they didn't sell of the regular cover. I know the math didn't add up there. Yeah, 1,978. No, 80.
What?
88.
I'm so lost.
Anyway.
I thought you said
12.
I thought you said they were ordering 2,000
Yeah,
and they were only going to sell like 15 copies. So by my math, that would be 1,985.
Yeah, so 1,985 of them are going to just sit in the box and end up being sold on Free Comic Book Day next year for a nickel a piece.
Yeah, they're going to be in
and they're never going to be worth
bins.
anything.
And then your shiny new Venom #1 is going to be
garbage.
You're not going to be able to sell it for the cover price because
there's a billion of them out there.
The market's flooded with a bunch of extra copies that nobody wanted.
Exactly. Just because they want to be able to do variant covers. Fine. Fuck it. Do variant covers, but just mix them in. Don't make somebody buy 1,000 shitty copies of a comic that probably nobody's going to want, or not that many people are going to want.
Well,
just to get, I mean, Venom, yeah, sure, they'll probably sell a pretty good number of them. But that being said, it's not.
But any one store is going to have trouble moving 2,000 copies of Venom #1. Even if you talk about like the biggest, like, you know, maybe Midtown Comics and
I don't see them.
I Manhattan can do it, but you know, like,
you really see them moving 1,000 copies of Venom?
Well, I mean, I'll be honest. I don't know how many issues.
No way.
I don't know how many even Midtown, you know, moves, like some of the bigger stores in the country, you know, but I know like any local store in most cities, you know, is not going to do that kind of business. So I just don't see it happening. So yeah, what you have then is sometimes you'll have collectors who want the rare variant. And what they'll do is, I know some stores will actually, you know, give people the choice. Hey, if you pay for the other, you know, like
300 copies.
I was gonna order 200. I can move 200. I was gonna order 200. If you buy the other 800 copies, then sure, I will order 1,000, and you can get the variant. But I mean, who wants to do that, you know? And as a normal collector, you know, like somebody who's not going to those extremes, you know, like it makes me. Do I want to buy Venom #1?
Hell no.
I mean, Venom, kind of a cool character, never really necessarily been on my, you know, top list of things that I collect. You know, but I like to normally check out #1s because sometimes they're cool, sometimes they're worth something. But one that I know that there's going to be thousands of extra copies floating around that stores couldn't sell, you know, no, probably not going to get that one because it ain't going to be worth the paper it's printed on come 2 months from then.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I got one more last thing. We were talking about this before the podcast a little bit. I think it's a decent discussion to be had. Are comic book conventions getting stale?
You know,
because of the popularity. I mean,
yeah, it's hard to do a big evaluation here because I'm having trouble decoupling my own experience from what necessarily may be, you know, the norm for everyone, because I too didn't start going to a lot of conventions this much until, you know, they exploded in popularity in the last handful of years due to, you know, the Marvel movies and just the popularity of superheroes in pop culture. So I it's hard for me to say what, you know, like compare what a con was like back then to what it's like now. To say whether they have the same things or a variety, there's definitely so much more stuff to buy. You know, like
it's unbelievable.
The market has exploded with different products. You know, like it used to be like they were all about the comics. Like all these conventions, you know, it was different comic book stores selling comics and collectors, you know, with their collections, and it was just tons and tons of long boxes everywhere, and that was cool because, you know, like if we're gonna go way back, you know, probably, you know, yeah, even before my time, you know, like there was no internet to, you know, order your comics off of, you know, so like you had to find other collectors who had, you know, what you wanted, you know, if you were searching for more rare books, you know, but now that it's just, become so hugely popular. The merchandise is just, I look around my living room, all the shit that I have within arm's reach, and like clearly you could buy just about frickin' anything, and it's actually gotten hard for me because now I have to, it used to be like if you found something from your fandom, you found like a Star Wars toy, or if I found like, something X-Men related, like, oh my god, I have to get it
Gotta
because
get that.
there's just not that much stuff out there to get.
Mm-hmm.
Now if I got everything I saw and was like, oh, that's cool, like I would
poor.
be
You wouldn't have a
buried
house to
under
put it in.
I would be buried under a pile of merchandise, and I'd die because I wouldn't be able to swim out to go, feed myself. It's just nuts how much stuff there is now. So, and it's a double-edged sword. On one hand, it's like, oh my god, it's so cool that the things that we love and enjoy are now this huge popular pop culture thing, and it's mainstream now, and like you have such unprecedented access to all this stuff.
Well, I think the other part of it too is that the popularity has not only attracted fans, but it has attracted vendors. So, for me, one of the detracting factors, one of the things that I don't like, and I don't know that this will ever be resolved really, is that we live in the Midwest, and in like our tri-state area, if you go to basically any convention, you're going to see the same 15 or 20 comic book vendors with the same wall books, with the same displays, with the same, and it's like, man, some small variants in artists sometimes, but it gets to a point where if you're going to 4, 5, 6 cons, 7 cons in a year, you're seeing the same vendors over and over, and it's almost like you're just going to a comic book store. You're going to a giant fucking comic book store, which is cool, don't get me wrong, but it takes out the element of surprise of what am I going to find? What if I find something cool? You already fucking know what you're going to find because you already looked through all that asshole's fucking long boxes.
Yeah, it's kind of like
and then it's like, well, why did I pay for admission if I already know that I'm not going to find something that I want?
It's kind of like going to the mall as a teenager.
Yes.
And then growing up a little bit, like it's cool because there's
like,
all this stuff.
This used to be awesome.
And you can't afford all of it. You're like, there's all this stuff you want to buy, and you're like, oh, someday I'm going to have the money for all this. And then after a while, you start going, and you're going to hang out, with people that you like and people that you like seeing, and just to go have something to do and be around the kind of environment that has things you like in it. But then after so many trips, you're not buying anything. You go there just to hang out, and you walk around, and you're like, yeah, I've seen everything here. Like, I'm not actually gonna get anything, And then you grow up a little bit, and you're like, do I really need to go hang out at the mall anymore? Like,
yeah,
I can get that stuff elsewhere. Like, I know what they have. Like, I'm only gonna go there if there's something I specifically need to buy. You're like, why do you go to this? Like, nobody goes to the store anymore. Like I'm gonna go to the grocery store, just to see if they've got anything new, like, it's like, no, I'm gonna go there because I need something specific. The hardware store. I wonder if
they
any
have
new
a new
hammers
kind of
have come
hammer
out lately. Yeah, no, you go there because, oh fuck, I need duct tape,
right.
So like, and not that comic books and the comic book conventions are as dull as a hardware store. No offense against people who absolutely love hardware stores, but like it's still fun to go to, and I still go to them, but yeah, it's a, I don't know, it's kind of a different experience. But then again, I don't want to, maybe that's just our experience because we've gone to so many. Like, I'm sure
our view is a little bit jaded from the fact that, by no stretch of the imagination are we celebrities or anything like that, but we have had an increased amount of access to artists and things like that, people in the comic book industry. Do you think that plays into it? I mean, we got an hour and a half personal sit-down time with Neil Adams. We had Bob Hall, Sean Forney a couple times, Daryl Banks, artist of Green Lantern. I can't remember. We didn't have Walt Simonson on. No. We had
No.
Yale Stewart was on. I mean, but we've had all these people that are deeply, deeply rooted and embedded into the in the comic book industry on to where we kind of had unrestricted access to them for a short amount of time. Do you think that kind of jades your view of it? Because it's not, it's like, oh yeah, like that's cool.
No,
Neil Adams is here. I already
not
heard
really.
his whole story. Like he fucking answered all my questions already.
Yes and no. For individual people, maybe, but overall, no, because what made us want to talk to them is for their own personal stories, their own personal experience, because that person as an individual had something unique to contribute. And so it's like, do you never want another craft beer because you have already had several really good ones and you like them, and
Touché.
it's like, just because you've had unrestricted access to one particular brewery doesn't mean that somebody else doesn't have a different take on it. Like, it's like, oh, I haven't tried that yet. Like there's a lot of comic creators, writers, artists, and all kinds of stuff. And when I go to these conventions, a lot of times one of the things that is neat to me are the things that I haven't seen before. And the vendors, you start seeing a lot of the same stuff. The merchandise vendors, you see a lot of the same products sold at multiple different booths. There's a certain few vendors who do have unique products, and they're really cool. A lot of handcrafted stuff, a lot of, but you also tend to see those people several times at multiple conventions. And while I love the fact that they're there, and I want other people to go buy their product, I've had a chance to go through their booth multiple times, and I've gotten what I want, and I don't necessarily need to keep buying everything they have, just because I keep continuing to see them. But like the special guests, a lot of them I haven't seen before, and so specifically this weekend is Cincinnati Comic Expo, and I went yesterday. I'm going back again today, and Stan Lee is there. I've never seen Stan Lee in person. Granted, the line was stupid long, and if you wanted, to do a signing, he's charging like $100, and after you wait in a giant ass long line, and that's only if there's time left over after the people who got the Stan Lee Experience package for like $400 get to go through and get their picture taken with him. But I was happy to just kind of walk up and from afar be like, holy shit, that's Stan Lee, and kind of geek out, and like I saw him in person. Like that was actually cool to me. Like that. Right, that's a moment I haven't had at a convention in a while. Like that was really cool.
Yeah. I get it.
John Barrowman was there.
George Perez was like that for me last year.
Yeah.
Seeing George Perez and talking with him, getting my picture taken, he was probably one of the most memorable. Like, I get what you're saying now, though.
John Barrowman was there, Captain Jack Harkness and Malcolm Merlin, and it was like, oh my god, like it's actually really kind of cool. Like he seems like a super nice dude, by the way. But like Peter Mayhew was there, and he was supposed to be there last year, and he unfortunately couldn't. He had some kind of conflict with some kind of, I think it was shooting for Force Awakens, so maybe that was 2 years ago. But yeah, it was just, it's kind of cool, like to, I don't know, like I know not everybody feels the same way about like celebrities, like, oh my god, it's so and so, but to me it was cool to actually see Stan Lee in person, and so like each person's different. Just because I saw Stan Lee in person doesn't mean that like there's some other creator out there that like I haven't seen yet, so for me the celebrity aspect is one of the few things that actually continues to be new. Now, I'm sure there will come a time when I've pretty much met everybody I care to ever see, and that'll get old too. But you have that in everything. So I definitely don't want to dissuade people who don't go to a lot of conventions from going to conventions.
Absolutely.
They're freaking awesome.
If you haven't been to conventions, for sure, 100% go. Check it out. If you haven't been, definitely go to some conventions, because if you're listening to this podcast, you clearly love comic books and you will love conventions. It's the best on the first time you go. It's
a ton of fun, and I still go to them because I still like that experience. And
I do too, just not as many as I used to.
But it's actually a lot. It's actually kind of nice in some ways, because it used to take me like the full week, like one of these weekend conventions. I'd get a weekend pass, and I would spend so long going through that convention. It's hard to see everything, Like
now you don't feel like you need to see everything.
Now I can go a little quicker because I'm walking up and down in the aisles. I'm like, yep, that's the booth that we just saw in Indianapolis. That's the booth that we just saw at Gen Con. They were here last year. Doesn't look like they have anything new. So there's a lot of stuff. I'm like, okay, familiar faces, and it's like, okay, cool. Like I can just kind of breeze through this
What
aisle.
I would like for us to go to next year, as a group, is the Gem City Comic Con up in Dayton. Smaller, but really, really nice. They have a gaming area. We could go and play some Magic or something. I think that would be a lot of fun. And we know a lot of the artists that are going to be there. We've spoken with quite a few of them. So that one I definitely want to try and get on the books for next year. But yeah, if you haven't been a part of the comic book convention scene, don't let our jaded view steer you away. Go. Clearly, as you can see from the wall behind me, I've been to a lot of comic book conventions and collected quite a bit of stuff. It's awesome. But it's just like anything else. If you do it too much, too frequently, you can get a little burned out on it, which is why I've been taking a break. I actually didn't schedule myself to go to any cons this year. Next year I'll probably hit, I think I'm going to hit 2 next year. And kind of dip my toes back into the pool. The year before last, I think I went to 5. And that was a bit many for me. That was the year we went down to Lexington and Gem City and Comic Expo, Queen City. Did a lot of them that year, but that's all right. Man, this turned out to be a pretty fun episode. Not bad. So that's it for this episode. I'm Fox2, and we got Topher.
So my girlfriend decided at the convention yesterday to keep a count of how many people were cosplaying as Harley Quinn.
Oh, I bet it was an asshole amount.
So there were a total of
50.
Let's see here, 63 that we saw yesterday.
My God.
She broke them down into categories. There were 29
slutty Harley Quinns.
Well, no, there were 29 from Suicide Squad, dressed as Suicide Squad Harley, 7 that were like the original Jester outfit, and then 27 that were just that were variations, like half comic, half Arkham City games, the Arkham games, or people's own original take where it's just, random red and black clothing put together, there's so many different takes on that character. It's nuts, but it's such an easy costume to make, and clearly the character was pretty popular in Suicide Squad because there were a lot. But yeah, that's funny. That was definitely the most popular costume that we saw.
That's funny. All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Later.